Now, to commemorate today, October 24th, which is United Nations Day, the UN Global Compact Nigeria and Accenture's latest report states that as at 2015 to 2022, the world is not on track in achieving its 2030 agenda for sustainable development, and private businesses are being urged to strengthen their contribution to the agenda. Joining me now from New York to discuss further is Naomi Nwokolo, Executive Director, United Nations Compact Network Nigeria. It's such a pleasure to have you on the show with us this morning, Naomi.
Thank you, Abby.
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Many thanks for joining us. Well, let's begin with a brief overview of what the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development goals are to help us contextualize the discussion in relation to this occasion.
Well, thanks. Let me start by saying Happy UN Day to everyone. The United Nations Day is a day that it's dedicated to raising awareness of the essence of the United Nations, recognizing the institution as a symbol for hope and also achievement thus far in improving the lives of individuals. And that's where also the 2030 Agenda comes into play. As you may know, the Agenda 2030 is the most ambitious plan for countries on what they need to do to end hunger, poverty, and generally improve the lives of their citizens. And this has been since 2015. So there's an ambitious call for government, private sector, and all parts of society to take action to see that they bridge the gap and try to really reach try to achieve the SDGs within the time frame, even though we are not correctly on the right track towards achieving that.
Right. There is a lot of work to be done, it appears. But there has been a lot of emphasis on the amount of money and effort the private sector should commit to advance the 2030 agenda. But what are the benefits of these commitments to businesses?
Well, the businesses have a role to play in achieving the SDGs, and the benefits are really enormous. I'll just mention a few. We look at enhanced reputation when it comes to brand value. Adopting sustainable practices can enhance a company's reputation and even their brand value. Interestingly, today's consumers, particularly the younger generations, are increasingly conscious of the environmental and social impact of the product and services that they choose. And then you look at also new business opportunities. Sustainable development challenges often require innovative solutions, and businesses that invest in research and development to address these challenges can gain a competitive edge amongst their peers. For example, the transition to renewable energy sources presents opportunities for companies to develop and really commercialize clean technologies such as solar power and electric vehicles. Then you look at also waste reduction. Energy and resource efficient measures can reduce operational expenses, while waste reduction and circular economy approaches can lead to a more sustainable use of resources and positively impact the company's bottom line. There's also the case of investments. Studies have also shown that companies with strong ESG performance tend to outperform their peers and financially, and investors are increasingly looking for long-term value and considering the ESG impact of companies when making investment decisions. So there's a lot of opportunities that are available for companies when they take actions. I just highlighted a few of them.
Right, it definitely sounds like a lot of opportunities there, just the navigation of it. But where do SMEs come in to ensure the attainment of the Agenda for Sustainable Development here?
Yeah, SMEs really do make a significant portion of the global economy, and they are often the backbone of local communities. For example, Nigerian SMEs contribute to about nearly 50% of the country's GDP, and they account for over 80% employment in the country. So when they adopt sustainable practices, they really contribute to social development, they contribute to poverty reduction through job creation, and they also address the issue of gender equality. So for example, some SMEs can prioritize fair employment practices. They want to promote decent work and support local community through their supply chains. And SMEs are typically more agile and adaptable than larger corporations, and enabling them to respond quickly to sustainability challenges and opportunities. They can also embrace innovative solutions such as digital technologies to improve efficiency and reduce their environmental impact. So they do have a great role to play, and they're really taking actions, I would say.
Okay, but talking about action, from your interactions with the private sector in Nigeria, what are some of the challenges that they face in contributing to the SDGs?
Yeah, the challenges are there. And one of the significant challenges I would say is the lack of awareness and understanding of the SDGs targets. There are 17 goals with 169 targets. So many businesses require guidance on how they can align their operations with the global goals. And then there's the issue of regulatory and policy frameworks that may not always be conducive to sustainable business practices, that the business will tell you that they are willing, but the frameworks do not really enable them or support them. And then there are unclear or really inconsistent regulations, there are bureaucratic hurdles, and corruption can really discourage businesses from actively contributing to the SDGs. And also, data collection is also a very major challenge. The private sector often faces difficulties in measuring and reporting their impact on the SDGs. So when you establish robust monitoring and evaluation systems, as well as collecting relevant data, then they can be really resource intensive, particularly for small businesses.
Right, but how is your organization helping to address these challenges? Because, you did mention a lack of awareness. In terms of outreach, sensitization, what work is being done on ground currently?
Yeah, so what we do at the UN Global Compact is really to help businesses understand what sustainability means within our local context and help them also tailor their operations in a way that helps to take action on the SDGs. So the UN Global Compact, we actively work to address the challenges faced by the private sector in contributing to the SDGs, including those in Nigeria. We are present in 123 countries, and Nigeria, 11 countries in Africa, Nigeria is one of them. So we provide guidance and resources to business to raise awareness and understanding of the SDGs, like I said earlier. Companies can learn how to incorporate the SDGs into their operations and strategies by really attending our academy, our training workshops. We have a pool of resources to support them in that regard. And we also advocate for supportive regulatory frameworks with government to create an enabling environment for businesses through policy dialogues, partnerships. We seek to influence policy decisions that promote sustainable business practices and regulatory challenges. For example, we have collaborated with the Nigeria National Human Rights Commission and government agencies, CSOs, on the National Action Plan for Business and Human Rights. I think 2 months ago, we pulled together about 70 businesses to come and discuss how they can begin to take actions to manage their human rights impact in Nigeria. And then our Business and Human Rights Accelerator also activates companies participating in the Global Compact across our industries to move from commitment to action on human rights and labor rights by really identify their impacts and managing it. And then recently, we also worked with the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, the Integrity Organization, and the draft SME corporate guidance and corporate governance guidelines in Nigeria, really to help SMEs see that they have to begin to implement responsible business practices in their operations and take actions in that regard.
Right,
These are just a few of what we do.
Yes, it does sound like quite a lot of groundwork, I must say there. But Naomi, could you please share, as we wrap up, some specific initiatives the Global Compact has introduced to drive significant progress towards advancing sustainability?
Okay, to mention but a few, we have launched the CEO Water Mandate. It was launched in 2020 in partnership with the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, Coca-Cola, Unilever, and later the Ministry of Water Resources to address urgent water challenges related to scarcity, quality governance, and access to water and sanitation. We also just completed the training with it's called the Sustainable Supply Impact Program, which we did with Dangote and Essential, where we supported about 24 of Dangote's suppliers through targeted upskilling in social and environmental sustainability, and they earn certifications that will boost their ESG score. So we are creating a sustainable track from even not just the business alone, but their supply chain. Everyone has to incorporate sustainability in their value chain. So these are just like a very few of the initiatives that we have done in Nigeria, and we're still running.
Right. So looking at the future very briefly, what would your big picture be for the upcoming year at your organization?
Well, we will continue to mobilize the businesses. It's not over, and we just completed the UN General Assembly in September, and we know that a lot of countries are not on track on the SDGs. So we continue to call on businesses to support the work that we do, to continue to think and practice sustainability and set ambitious concrete targets for the SDGs. We launched an initiative called Forward Faster, which really calls on businesses to publicly commit to the targets in terms of human rights, gender equality, financial investing for the SDGs, and other initiatives where we have decent work in the supply chain. So we want these businesses to take actions, publicly commit to the targets, and then when they go back, take actions on them and report on it. I believe that if businesses begin to do that, then I think we're on the right track towards mobilizing the business communities to continue to take actions on the sustainable development goals.
Absolutely, but we can't wrap up without asking you what the feedback has been from the private sector, the business world. How have they been responsive to this initiative so far?
Well, I'd say that we have grown as an institution in Nigeria. We started with just 30 companies, and now we have about 130 businesses in the UN Global Compact. And that shows that they're beginning to really understand and appreciate the work that we do. We recently, on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly, we signed in NNPC as a member of the UN Global Compact, which is the first state-owned oil and gas to join the Global Compact, and also and they're going to be taking actions in their work towards just transition. So we see businesses are beginning to commit to the basics. Businesses are providing a living wage, so it was not.
All right, we seem to have lost Naomi there, but lots of great work being done over there. But of course, we will continue to catch up and follow up on this as the show unfolds.